Welcome to today's sprint. This is shaping up to be another fantastic weekend. We're racing today then in Travis County, Texas, where 20 corners and speeds of up to 200 miles per hour await us on this magnificent racetrack. It's 60% full throttle with plenty of good opportunities to pass, especially through the 2 DRS zones into Turn 1 and the long back straight into Turn 12. What a race we have in store today. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Ward, Hamilton, Max Verstappen, and Fernando Alonso, Antonelli, Russell, Stroll, and Carlos Sainz, Albon, Bortoleto, Pierre Gasly and Ocon, Hadjar, Behrman, Nico Hülkenberg and Yuki Tsunoda, Lawson and Franco Colapinto rounds off the grid. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out. So I'm sure there'll be plenty to talk about this afternoon, and who's going to talk about it with us? None other than Naomi Schiff. Hi, Naomi. Well, they say that a change is as good as a rest, and whilst there's not much rest on show in the sprint format today, there's definitely a change to what we're usually seeing on the track. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them?
Well, every driver certainly has their own way of preparing themselves before a race. But I can tell you that pre-race rituals are a real thing. When I was in go-karting, I used to touch every wheel in a specific sequence before I got into the kart. And then I stepped up to cars and had a specific set of fireproof base layers just for race day. So watch the drivers when they're on the grid. Some may be sitting on the floor and isolating, others may be up to other things that they do. But these little things really help their minds get ready for the race.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down. No threat of rain for the time being. Conditions look good. Superb parking there, mate. Let's make sure we get the edge on the surrounding drivers as the lights go out. Okay, so that's the rest of the grid forming up now. Be patient and watch for those lights. Okay, DRS is now available. We've got a lot of spare energy. Okay to use your overtake button. Good job, that was the fastest lap of the race so far. No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving. Okay, mate, this is the final lap of the race. Final lap.
So that wraps up the sprint race, but there's still more action yet to come this weekend. We've got qualifying and, of course, the Grand Prix.